Hello and welcome. This is Florian Wild, Managing Director of CMC, including in Cyprus and Georgia. And in today's video, I have Gerhard Hedger as my interview partner. And today's essential topic is why securing a truly prime location is absolutely crucial for any successful real estate investment, even when you are looking at properties located far abroad. What defines a prime location, and why shouldn't you settle for B or C locations, possibly get involved with them? And I'm especially pleased, Gerhard, that you are available as an interview partner. Please introduce yourself. After all, you've been active in the real estate industry for several decades now. How did you come to Georgia and also to this Batumi Tower project, which we'll be discussing today, because it has this truly exceptional location? Please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me a bit about your background and about this project.
Okay, yes. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation, Florian. And yes, about myself. I have been working in the real estate industry for over 35 years and, as you know, have been living in Cyprus since 2023. You handled my integration, but I have actually known Georgia, and especially Batumi, for much longer. For over 10 years, I have been regularly on site and have been able to closely follow Batumi's economic development. And of course, during that time, I often thought to myself, an investment wouldn't be such a bad idea. But no project ever truly convinced me. And my gut feeling always told me, well, this just isn't it. That changed when I then saw that this project, Atomic Hour, is located right in the best, most optimal location. The location, the plot of land had already caught my attention before. And I always thought, why is nothing happening there? Why is nothing happening on this plot of land? And I thought to myself, if something does happen there, then, and if overall it also comes with quality and so on, then I could imagine doing something there.
Okay, and what makes this Batumi Tower, what makes it so special for you? What is the reason that sparked your interest when you previously said that a lot of things aren't that exciting or nothing is really exciting? What is different there? What is special about it?
Well, the location is truly, first of all, the prime location. You are, first and foremost, I would almost say you are really just 50 meters from the beach with the building. Later in the project, there will be a private marina. And what is especially important is that on the other side, it is the gateway to Batumi's old town, which is really very pleasant, very beautiful. There are many restaurants there. And of course, as everyone knows, location is crucial for good real estate. That was a major factor. Then, in addition to those points, the developer is exceptionally skilled and remarkably consistent when it comes to complex architecture. And it is important to note that it is not only that. They also have a wide variety of several impressive projects that they have successfully designed, developed, and fully brought to completion. That is exactly why the whole package really appealed to me and caught my attention. I got personally involved. And so to speak, it convinced me to the point that I also took on the marketing for the German-speaking region. Or in other words, I want to offer it on the German market and practically introduce it to your clients, our clients.
So, how important is the location directly by the sea and the old town? Like you said, you practically fall right into the old town. That's really mega central. I think you really need to see it for yourself to truly understand how central it is. How important is this location for value development? And of course, for renting as well. It's a hotel project, so there are corresponding hotel rentals. What makes this situation so special? How important is that?
A good location is still, so to speak, an important component, a foundation, essentially the foundation for a strong investment concept. But that's only one part. But without a good and truly excellent location, it doesn't work. That's one part of it. The location is truly right by the sea, directly on the long promenade, and on the other side, the gateway to the old town. That's something that can't be replicated and is truly unique right now. And it will be the same in 10 years. It can't be built over. It's simply a factor. The location is unique and will still be unique in 10 years. On top of all that, of course, is the very broad and unique overall concept itself, which really stands out as exceptional. So you're not committing your capital in just a residential apartment development, but in a sophisticated and exclusive high-end project, complete with a premium hotel investment opportunity in a special location. The plan is for an exclusive five-star hotel that will set new standards for high-end hospitality in Georgia and Batumi. The concept includes a casino, exclusive restaurants, various dining options, indoor and outdoor pools, and of course, direct proximity to the marina. That is truly exceptional and will, of course, also attract many more international guests. And naturally, it is worth noting that the commitment that the project is being designed and overseen by Kengo Kuma, a very renowned and globally celebrated master architect, simply ensures that it will have widespread international recognition, which is absolutely vital and of the utmost importance for all of our international clients. What is included in this concept? World famous architect, prime location, good developer, reputable developer. And as I said, the best location. This is simply a concept that could ensure above average occupancy, higher room rates, and long term value stability. That's why it will become a flagship project for Batumi or even for the entire region.
Okay, and what kind of entry prices can one expect there? How much does the whole thing cost?
You can expect entry prices of around $98,000 or $98,500. Those are the starting prices in the lower ranges. However, there are also very, very good offers at $115,000. In that case, you really get a very, very good location in terms of height. And a very, very good, this is, in my opinion, the best or one of the best options. So, very stable and with high returns to secure a property is roughly on the 10th to 15th floor, I think. That's a really, really good mix.
Okay, so as an investor, I basically buy a unit in this hotel and then it gets rented out for me, right?
Exactly. So, the core concept here is that a professional operator runs this entire five-star luxury hotel. When you decide to invest, you essentially buy this specific hotel room. And then absolutely everything, including the professional management, the daily rental operations, and all the logistics, is handled entirely by the operator. Because of this arrangement, you then receive a clear revenue split 40/60. Specifically, 40% of the total income stays with the operator to cover the costs of managing the property, including all ongoing maintenance and rental services, while the remaining 60% of that income goes directly to you, the investor.
Okay, and how does the investment work? With regard to the payment plan, do you have to put the entire amount on the table right at the beginning? It's still under construction. How does that work? What is the payment plan like?
The payment plan is very investor friendly. It's very investor friendly. You reserve your unit for $2,500, then you make a payment of 20%. And after that, you have the option to pay for the unit in interest free installments over 48 months to pay for the unit, which I think means you don't need a bank or anything like that. You just have a small installment. And what's especially attractive is that it's interest free. So I think this is a very, very good offer from the developer.
Okay, and after 48 months, I basically get the key, the ownership, and then the rental starts.
Exactly, that's right. Completion is scheduled after 48 months. And then I basically have my studio, my apartment, my unit, my property, and the rental begins. I don't have the key, the operating company does, but in addition, you also have basically the option to use this apartment or studio yourself for 2 weeks in the summer and 2 weeks in the winter.
Okay, so I can basically enjoy 4 weeks a year free of charge, enjoy five-star luxury. That's not bad either, especially when there's a pool, spa, restaurant, marina, casino, everything included. What about the return on investment? What can I expect if I invest around 1 million euros there in a unit? What kind of return can I expect?
Well, the return, yes, we've done a calculation and it's in the double digit range between 12 and 16%, which in itself is already very good. That's because in the five-star segment or in this category, due to the concept, or also comparable hotels achieve these returns and command these prices. So, in our return calculation, we based it on prices that are currently standard in the market. I just want to say, even though the Silk Tower, the Batumi Tower, is of course a completely different property. Yes, so we basically used a good good five-star hotels as a comparison. And we essentially took those prices and then arrived at a return of 14 to 16%.
Okay, that's already quite respectable. What about taxes? What else gets deducted? In Georgia, what does it look like there?
So the rental tax is currently sitting at only 5%. And that is actually very, very low when you compare it to the typical German or other broader European standards that we see today. That's really very, very pleasant and very, very reasonable. So you can really achieve a good investment here. Is achieved.
Okay, all right, I understand. Good. And you've invested yourself as well, right? You've secured some units for yourself too?
I've also gotten involved myself because for me, it's just really, well, for me, the whole thing is very solid and it simply convinced me. That's why I've also gotten involved myself.
Okay, wonderful. And if, for example, I'm interested in a residence permit in Georgia, can I also use this investment for that? How does that work?
You can currently get the residence permit for an investment of $100,000. From what I've heard, though, this is supposed to increase to $150,000 in the near future, but at the moment it's still $100,000. To obtain this residence permit, to begin the process, it is entirely sufficient for you to formally sign the official contract and then proceed to pay the required down payment. Once these specific steps are completed, all of the necessary legal requirements for this particular residence permit are officially fulfilled, and you will subsequently receive your residence permit from the authorities.
Okay. And exactly how secure is an investment like this for the average person? Foreigners, for non-Georgians, could anything happen if I secure such a unit now? What's your personal view on this as well? You're not a Georgian citizen either. Do you feel comfortable there? Do you feel safe? What is the legal situation like?
So, acquiring property in Georgia is safe for foreigners. Foreign buyers have the same property rights as Georgians. There are no restrictions on purchasing apartments or flats. There are none. The entire purchase process is clearly structured and transparent. And for the most part, it's digitalized. So it's not like it might be in Germany. The purchase contracts are notarized and the entry into the state land register is made. Quick and clean. In just a matter of a few business days, every single detail is officially registered and is thus fully documented in a legal and proper manner. This is the standard process for all of our clients who, so to speak, choose to book their services through our office here. Our clients are fully supported throughout every single step of the journey, ranging from the initial detailed contract review to the complex legal processing. We personally accompany this entire process all the way up to the final land register entry, and we make absolutely sure to offer every client a truly complete and comprehensive service package that covers all their needs.
And this is a new construction project. Of course, there are always risks. Which ones do you see here? What would be the worst case scenario? What risks should I factor in as an investor?
In general, every new construction project comes with certain construction risks. However, I think what matters is how professionally these risks are managed. With the Batumi Power Tower project, investors benefit from a plan, a predictable payment structure, meaning fixed monthly installments that are not tied to individual construction milestones. This provides planning security and avoids unforeseen financial burdens. A fundamental and primary motivation why I decided to select this specific option is that the developer already possesses an extensive and proven track record. spanning many years of experience with large-scale projects, and has successfully brought several of them to full completion. And the track record shows that the company has not speculated, but has implemented projects on schedule, with a focus on quality and in a structured manner. In addition, they have engaged the architect Kenko Kumara, who stands for the highest standards, top architectural standards, precise planning, and controlled execution. I have absolutely never once heard of a single architectural project that this architect has carried out, where there were ever any significant complications or unforeseen difficulties with the final implementation. So, with the combination of experienced developers, a renowned architect, and a clear payment structure, the project is very, very secure.
Okay. And how would you assess the political and economic situation in Georgia? I mean, Georgia is not European Union. That is basically, first of all, something very positive, I think. And it always makes sense to get involved in different regions as well. With investments, how do you see it? From an investor's perspective, politically and economically in Georgia, is it stable? How would you assess that?
Well, in my view, Georgia has been pursuing a clearly economically liberal and investor friendly policy for years. Tiered taxes, consistent protection of private property, and maintaining a consistently open and welcoming attitude toward international capital investments serves as the essential cornerstone for building a truly stable investment structure. From an investor's perspective, it is especially important that economic decisions are made pragmatically with a focus on business and growth. The state is deliberately focusing on international tourists, international investors, tourism, and service sectors, which is clearly reflected in the development of Batumi and all of Georgia. Those are simply hard facts for investors. Steady economic growth, rapidly rising visitor numbers, massive strategic investments, improved modern infrastructure, and consistent sustainable capital inflow from abroad. These factors clearly speak in favor of Batumi.
Okay, understood. And how does it work later once the unit is finished? With the rental, how should I imagine that? There is a operator who takes care of it. How does that work?
Well, there is an operator who markets or manages this hotel, rents it out. The customer or the buyer doesn't have to worry about anything. It's completely taken care of through a regular hotel operation. We handle the bookings, and you basically have a complete turnkey package. The income is split 40 to 60%. The 60% goes directly to the investor. It doesn't get any better than that. You basically have almost passive income because I don't have to take care of anything. Furthermore, all of the extensive marketing efforts and all other aspects are managed entirely by the professional operator, who naturally possesses a very strong and direct interest in ensuring they achieve the maximum possible return. Yes,
Sure, sure, absolutely. And what would you recommend as an exit strategy? So does it make sense to sell the unit after completion and take the profit? Or should you rather see it as a long-term investment with a high rental yield? What is your personal exit strategy?
well, my personal strategy is that I will definitely keep one unit in my portfolio and maybe sell the second unit. But of course, that's depending on the investor's strategy. Yes, both options are certainly possible. And we'll just have to see. When the property is completed after 4 years of construction, then I'll make my decision. There will certainly be an increase in the purchase price of, I estimate, at least a 40% price increase for the property. And then I'll see how I proceed from there. Whether I keep the property in the rental portfolio, so to speak, or hold it as an asset, or whether I decide to sell a unit, I'm absolutely certain because I'm truly convinced that this is a very, very good long-term investment that I will definitely keep at least one unit in my portfolio.
Okay, I understand. Very good. Good. Then I want to thank you very, very much for all the information. That was a lot of very interesting input. So thank you very much for that. And if someone is interested in investing there, or at least wants to get more information, how would the process work? How can someone get in touch with you?
It would be great if you just, well, I actually have a link where a customer can book a free consultation. And then you can really, in the conversation, I can explain all the details to them in more depth. Yes, that's what I offer. It's free of charge and completely without obligation. And I think that's a good way to go.
Okay, wonderful. So just click the Zoom link below the video, schedule a Zoom appointment, and get personal advice. Okay, wonderful. All right, then thank you very much. See you soon, Gerhard. I'm looking forward to seeing you both again. Take care.
Yes.
See you then. Bye.